But this one, on the other hand, is not. It's a judge that says Trump's right to free speech in the January 6th case is not absolute.
Revealing new details from the first hearing in the January 6th case against Donald Trump. This is the first time we have heard from federal judge Tanya Chutkan, and she has said some really interesting things, telling Trump's lawyers that the administration of justice comes first and that he may not be able to say everything that he wants to in political speeches.
CNN's Caitlin Polans outside the court for us once again. More and more details, Caitlin. If you can, bring us all up to speed once again on what we have heard and from Judge Chutkan, what she's laid down so far.
Well, this hearing isn't over yet, but
I like that, going back to this, but I like that the charges against Joe Biden revolve around like possibly investigating his son and then having his son be arrested on, or having his son be charged with like gun charges and like tax evasion, blah, 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 all this other stuff. It's like this massive puzzle that you need to solve to be able to like potentially get to Joe Biden. And ultimately you don't really get to Joe Biden. There's a bottleneck there. But with Trump, it's like he very openly and very clearly said, knowing full well that it was, not allowed, he very clearly engaged in a criminal conspiracy to defraud the American public and try to fraudulently change a slate of electors and also potentially utilize violence, and successfully actually utilize violence and an insurrection on January 6th to stop the vote certifications from happening, the ballot certifications from happening in Congress. Like, all of that is so open and shut. He's right in the fucking middle of it. It's just got to be a sad day if you're a Republican. You got to do like 20 different mental gymnastics exercises to be able to make it seem like the criminal justice system is like completely stacked against our brave, bold, beautiful patriots here who have done nothing wrong. And also the Democrats, they are the ones who are doing everything wrong. It's awesome.
even the things that she's done so far have given limitations to Donald Trump and made clear that he needs to watch what he says publicly versus what he's learning behind the scenes as he prepares for trial, even though he's a political candidate out there giving speeches and posting on social media. One of the things that she has already said that is going to happen is that when Donald Trump learns any information he didn't know before from witness interviews that the Justice Department did, sensitive witness interviews, he's not going to be able to disclose that. That's an order from the court, and that is an order from the court that is going to be above and beyond any sort of free speech claims that Donald Trump may make. The judge here has been quite clear, saying that his speech is able to be limited. The First Amendment does have limitations to it, and that she is not going to be...
He said it, folks. She said it. This judge hates free speech, folks. She said it. She said it's not absolute. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's absolute, folks. Where I come from, it's absolute, except the N-word. There's two different N-words, folks. You can't say either. You can't say either of those words. You'd be able to say it back in the day. Very dangerous.
Doing things based on what is happening in the political sphere. She is a judge. It is separate. One of the quotes that really jumps out from this hearing today, the fact that he is running a political campaign currently has to yield to the administration of justice. And if that means he can't say exactly what he wants to say in a political speech, that is just how it's going to have to be. And then also she says, I cannot and I will not factor into my decision what effect it will have on a political campaign for either side. And so there are still many arguments being made here, and they're talking about how Trump will be able to disclose or not disclose, largely not disclose, information he's learning as he's getting evidence, and his lawyers are getting evidence in this case. And they...
Good luck. Can you imagine issuing a gag order on a man who is ungaggable, okay? He is the throat goat, okay? He has no gag reflex. You cannot stop this man You will never be able to get this man to not reveal any kind of evidence, any kind of new evidence that is brought up in the case that his lawyers hear, unless you get his lawyers to not show the evidence to Donald Trump, okay? Every single new thing that he learns, he's going to immediately go to Truth Social and yell about, because he thinks this is a court case that he can win in the eyes of the public, which is not wrong. That's the only way you could win this court case. Kind of like you fucking own, dude. Fucking own. Yeah, kind of like me. I'm just like Trump. Thank you. I love Trump, and you're absolutely correct. It's like, what happens if he violates it, though? I mean, I don't know. What are they going to do? Hold him in contempt of court? I mean, that'd be super sick. I just don't know that. I don't know what would happen. There's a lot of unknowns here, guys. I wish I could tell you. Yeah. Are you telling me that the guy that showed Kid Toucher Rock invasion plans won't obey a gag order? Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. The irony is that there's a separate court case happening specifically surrounding Trump refusing to listen to very clear instructions that tell him not to reveal certain kinds of information or to give certain documents back. Kid Toucher Rock, Kid Diddler Rock. That's his middle name. What do you mean? Kid Rock, Kid Diddler Rock. KDR.
Prepare for trial, but also Judge Chutkan is clearly issuing quite a warning to Trump and his defense team that he needs to be careful not to obstruct justices, not to intimidate witnesses, and that is a real thing, a real line that he could cross if he keeps talking publicly about witnesses in this case. She's really tried to avoid it being specifically about any witness in particular. His lawyers have brought up Mike Pence. That's something the Justice Department also had flagged here. But this is quite a clear sign from the judge. And on top of that, they're still working out some details in this situation, how much Trump can review evidence, where he can review evidence, who can be with him, also how they will designate the evidence in this case as it gets handed over. What are the things that Trump specifically can't share more widely versus what can he incorporate into his political speech? But so far, this is quite a set of things that the judge has said, really taking on a lot more than just the legal issues in this case, which I might note have largely been in line with what Donald Trump's lawyers have agreed to or have proposed so far.
All right, Caitlin Polans, don't go far, because we keep getting new reports from inside the courtroom. For standby, if you will, for just a moment.
We also have Paula Reed, who's been inside the courtroom. She's making her way out, so we're going to be able to hear from Paula what she saw and heard inside the courtroom as well. In the meantime, joining us right now is former Assistant U.S. Attorney Nick Ackerman for more on this. Nick, Caitlin has been laying all of this out for us, what has been coming out from court, what the judge has been talking about. Just before we jump into some of her quotes and things we've heard from the judge, overall, what do you take from what we're hearing from the judge so far?
None of this is very surprising. This is a very standard protective order that the government wants. The purpose of a protective order is for the defendant to be able to get discovery and use it for his defense, not to put on a public display or contest the allegations in a public forum. He's already agreed to two protective orders that are almost exactly the same in both the Miami classified documents case and the New York case prosecution. So none of this is surprising. I think she's essentially going to be putting in place.
Oh, yeah, this is Fryer as well. Here you go. Breaking news, bail hearing for FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried left the judge convinced that he had repeatedly tried to influence witnesses against them. The judge then revoked his bail. Now, of course, if there was any fucking real justice in the world, if the justice system was actually not two-tiered, where the rich and powerful got the same kinds of consequences, okay, then Donald Trump would also get a similar kind of approach. I mean, they should behave They should treat Donald Trump like any other person, right? He's just a guy. Donald Trump comes in this chat at the top of the hour. He's seeing a 3-minute ad break. Unless he subscribes. Doesn't have a lot of money. All the super PACs are actually juicing his lawsuits, so probably doesn't have any money to spend here. Probably will not be able to avoid the 3-minute ad break unless he subscribes for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. He can use Melania or Barron Trump's Amazon Prime account connected to his Twitch account and get one free Prime subscription to use it here. He could also get gifted a sub if he's lucky. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. But two-tier justice system, this won't happen to him. Only reason why it's happening to Sam Bankman-Fried is because he's broke. New Jarvis video, YouTube pranks got worse. Yeah, we'll watch it.
The order that the government has asked for, and based on the comments that I heard, it just reaffirms my opinion that this case is going to trial in January or February of next year. This judge is not taking any blowback from this defendant. They've tried over the last couple of days. If you look at the filings that have been made, they've tried everything to delay this as much as possible, put this over till next week, try not to make it very important in a matter that's pretty perfunctory. So I think the judge has seen through their delay tactics, and she's not going to take any of it. And I think this is a clear message to Donald Trump that he is going to be in the dock in January or February, and a jury is going to be listening to the evidence.
The actual legal rulings she could issue here may be narrow today. Mm-hmm. What she said overall may have a greater impact and may be more expansive, Nick. I'm going to paraphrase here. One of the things she did say is that being a presidential candidate is really no different than any other job. She's going to treat running for president like she would treat any job, which is to say that, you know, the Iowa caucuses don't mean anything more to me than a business appointment that a defendant might have. So don't expect the implication there is don't expect the Iowa caucuses in and of themselves to delay a trial date. She also said the fact that he's running a political campaign currently has to yield to the administration of justice. And if that means he can't say exactly what he wants to say in a political speech, that's just how it's going to be. She's making clear that the politics here won't really impact her legal decisions.
I think that's absolutely correct. I mean, what she is basically saying is today, I mean, as you said before, it's going to be a narrow ruling. She's going to put into place the protective order. Trump is going to get all of the discovery immediately, discovery well beyond what he would be entitled to normally, including witness statements that by law don't even have to be turned over until after a witness testifies. I never did this before in all my years as a prosecutor, never gave out this kind of information this far in advance. She's also signaled that on the 28th of August, when they discuss the trial date, this is going to go ahead quickly. Like I said before, it's going to be January or February. This case is going to move along. She's taken control, and it's so obvious. If you look at the docket sheet, she was responding on.
Okay, this is boring. God damn it.
To the race.
I hate how boring CNN's like regular old normal coverage of the issue is. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm sorry. I'm afraid to report that once again, the libs, they're not doing a good job. They're not doing a good job at all. They're just fucking straight doo-doo. They're straight boring. Oh my Lord. Okay. GOP presidential hopefuls make campaign stops at Iowa State Fair. Don't you love it? Don't you love it, folks? The Iowa State Fair is back. The only time where we all get together collectively, okay? We all get together and act like Iowa exists as a state. It's great. It's wonderful. Love when this happens once every 4 years. It's the best. They all go to the state fair. They all eat the funnel cake. They eat the corn dogs. You get to see them eating glizzy. Okay?